At my daughter's university's homecoming, our family found ourselves in a crisis. Apparently, the outfit for the homecoming queen contest hadn't arrived. I was so looking forward to competing. My daughter sobbed in anguish. She had been learning various techniques from her mother, a former model, and had been practicing tirelessly for this day. For a girl aspiring to be a model, today was a crucial event, a make or break moment in her life. It's too soon to give up. I'll figure something out. Figure something out? What can you even do, Dad? It's no wonder she said that. After all, I'm just a janitor. As a janitor, there's nothing I can do to help my daughter. Yes, as a mere janitor. I bolted out of the dressing room. I had no idea at the time that this action would drastically change the course of my life. My name is Casey. I'm a janitor at a private university. I live an ordinary life with my wife, Aria, and our daughter, Mila. If there's one peculiar thing about us, it's that Mila attends the same university where I work. Mila knew about my job, but she had no idea her chosen university was where I worked. I remember clearly how hard it was to break the news to her after she showed me her acceptance letter. Naturally, Mila's reaction was not a good one. Of course, it would be awkward to attend the school where your own parent works. Especially when that parent isn't a faculty or staff member, but a janitor. I can't believe Dad is the janitor at my school. It's so embarrassing. I'll have to pretend I don't know him if we pass each other. I overheard her say this to her mother from the next room. Aria said, "Your father works hard for our family, so don't say things like that." You should be grateful, but Mila's response was lukewarm at best. Well, there's no way she could proudly tell anyone that her father, in his dirty janitor's uniform, walking around campus, was someone to boast about. So, I didn't say anything to her. Mila has always looked up to her mother, Aria. Even now, over 40, Aria is beautiful. Her figure, hair, skin, and demeanor are all youthful. She's not trying to look young, rather, her beauty is natural for her age. This isn't just my biased opinion, it's a result of her habit of maintaining her looks as a former model. Since she was a student, Aria used her height and well-defined features to become a charismatic model. She graced the covers of countless fashion magazines and was in high demand for commercials and events. Now retired and working as an office worker, her colleagues still say she has an aura that sets her apart. Mila has admired Aria since she was a child. She learned everything from exercise and diet to beauty tips, and now she's a model, chosen from readers herself. Being a model means avoiding negative scandals at all costs. I understand that if it were known that her father is a janitor, it could harm Mila's image. So I've made every effort to stay out of her sight at work. My existence might ruin Mila's future. Both Mila and I know this all too well. Ah, Mama's so pretty and such a cool office lady even now. But Dad's a janitor, and I can't tell my friends. It's so awkward when they ask what my dad does, she complained again to Aria when I wasn't around. Fresh out of the bath, I overheard this conversation from the hallway. Mila had her back to the hallway, so she didn't notice me, but Aria did, and our eyes met perfectly. Aria gave me an apologetic look, then gently patted Mila's head. "Don't say things like that, okay? My job might be your dream, but every job is important." "Yeah, I guess," Mila replied, not fully convinced. I turned my back on them and headed to the bedroom. I often hear on TV and the internet that daughters and their fathers don't get along well. I'm in the same situation as most fathers. Telling myself that everyone probably feels this way was the only way to distract myself from this loneliness and emptiness. Even though she says things like that, I love my one and only daughter. One day, I noticed a bunch of posters plastered all over the university's main building bulletin board. Normally, I wouldn't pay any attention to the board, but this time, my eyes were drawn to it, because Mila's face was on one of the posters. At the top of the poster, it announced the Homecoming Queen event in bold letters, along with the date. Apparently, it's being held on the final day of homecoming. Mila is going to be queen. She's my daughter, but no, being Aria's daughter, it's only natural for her to participate in such an event. Mila's goal is to become a model like her mother. I was glad to see her getting closer to her dream, and I finished my work that day with a cheerful heart. When I told Aria about it after coming home, she was overjoyed as if it were her own success. It seems that if someone has an invitation from a participant, they can get priority seating close to the stage. Watching Aria happily chattering about wanting to go, I felt a warm, comforting feeling. Just then, Mila came home. Welcome home, Mila. I heard you're competing for homecoming queen. How did you? Oh. Seeing me, Mila let out a sigh. Then she added, just don't come to watch, okay? It's not that it doesn't hurt. If, for some reason, I can't get the day off and end up peeking in wearing my janitor's uniform, and if it ever got out that I was her father, Mila's reputation would surely suffer. I know that's what she's trying to say, and I can't say I don't understand her feelings. Yeah, it's next month. If I win the grand prize, the designer Alec will create a special outfit tailored just for me. Alec. Yeah. Mom, you know him, right? Have you ever worked with him before? Alec is a famous designer from our generation. He incorporates youth trends into his practical yet sophisticated designs, which are popular with a wide range of people. Well, yes, kind of. Wow. That's amazing, Mom. Aria and I exchanged glances. Aria's face looked complicated. I'm sure I wore the same expression. And you know what? They said I'll be featured in one of Alec's magazines. The event staff worked really hard to make that happen. Really, that's amazing. He's even coming to watch on the day of the event. If I win the grand prize and get discovered by Alec, it might not be just a dream to make it big internationally. She continued with excitement. It seems she's quite enamored with Alec. All the homecoming queen outfits are designed by Alec. The auditorium is going to have a runway, and we'll be walking down it. That sounds exciting. Mila was too caught up in her excitement to notice Aria's somber expression and tone. Then, leaning forward, she hugged Aria tightly. Mom, teach me how to walk and pose. I really want to do my best. Sure. I will. Despite Aria's reluctant tone, Mila was bursting with enthusiasm. Late at night, when Mila had likely fallen asleep, Aria and I sat across from each other in silence, both wearing troubled expressions. Should we tell Mila the truth? Aria lowered her head, looking as if she didn't know what to do. That's all in the past now, and it's fine. At least, it is for me. If you're okay with it. Still, I didn't know Mila admired Alec so much. I didn't either. Has he become that famous? Aria clenched her fists as if trying to endure something. I gently opened her clenched hand to prevent her from hurting herself. What's done is done. All we can do now is support Mila. The day of the homecoming queen event arrived quickly. I was already on campus for work, and Aria had been invited by Mila. Pulled along by Aria, I made my way to the auditorium. Is it really okay for me to go? Of course it is. Besides, they won't be able to see us from the stage. To be honest, I couldn't sit still anyway. So, in a way, I was grateful for Aria's insistence. She sat me down in the audience and said she was going to see Mila for a bit. I watched her head out to the lobby and glanced at my watch. My work would start after homecoming, once the attendees had left. Right now, I was just in a regular t-shirt, not my janitor's uniform. So even if Mila spotted me, at worst, she'd just be mad, or so I hoped. I'd seen Mila in magazines, but this would be the first time I'd see her in action. Mila had inherited Aria's looks and never flaunted it. Well, she might be harsh on me, but as long as she's doing well out there, that's all that matters. As the event start time drew closer, my heart pounded with anticipation. Just as I was wondering where Aria was, my phone buzzed with a call from her. I got up and stepped into the lobby to answer it, and her panicked voice came through. "Hello? It's a disaster. Mila's outfit is missing." "Missing? What do you mean?" "Just come to the dressing room." I sprinted to the designated location. I flashed my janitor's ID to get through the restricted area without any trouble. When I entered the room, Mila was in tears, and Aria was talking with a student in a homecoming staff t-shirt. What happened? Mila's outfit didn't arrive. Apparently, a few days ago, they had done a fitting, but there were some issues with the outfit. So it was sent back for adjustments and was supposed to be delivered again. However, the outfit that was supposed to arrive this morning was nowhere to be found, and they couldn't even get a response from the supplier. Possibly because they were closed. I was so looking forward to competing. I practiced so hard. Aria pulled Mila into a comforting embrace as she cried out in anguish. "So that's why you called me." I glanced at Aria, who nodded firmly. "Yes, please." "For Mila." "Got it. I'll figure something out." I asked the student staff how much time we had until Mila's turn. "About an hour," they said. I requested that Mila be the last contestant to buy as much time as possible, then dashed out of the dressing room. My destination, the FCS warehouse. There, leftover fabric from classes and homecoming preparations was packed into cardboard boxes. After homecoming, it was my job to dispose of all of this. I called Miss Tanner, the FCS professor. "Miss Tanner, sorry to bother you." "Oh, Casey? What's the matter?" "Well, I'd like to use some of the FCS disposal materials." "The disposal materials? From the warehouse?" "Yes, and also a sewing machine." "Actually." "Go ahead, you can tell me the reason later." Her cheerful voice came through the phone. "I'm curious why you'd want those things." "I expect great things, Casey." "Show me later, I'll be looking forward to it." "Thank you." I quickly flashed my ID to get into the storage room, grabbed what I needed, and headed to the sewing room. Calling Aria and Mila to join me, I asked Aria for Mila's measurements. "Dad, what are you doing?" Mila's eyes widened as she watched me. With no time to spare, I simply said, "Making something you might like," then focused on my task. A message from the event staff came through. "Mila, it's almost time, please get ready." Mila changed into the outfit just in time. Mila sees herself and is at a loss for words. She looked at me in the mirror and opened and closed her mouth. "Dad, this is." Aria took her by the arm and led her toward the stage. "Come on, let's go. Let's show everyone how amazing you look." "Go on, Cinderella," I said. It felt cheesy, even to me, but Mila gave a shy smile. I nodded to Aria, asking her to take care of Mila, and made my way to the audience. Mila's name was announced, and she stepped onto the stage. The moment she appeared, the whole auditorium gasped. Unlike the glamorous, feminine outfits worn by previous contestants, Mila's dress was a patchwork of various fabrics. It looked like a clown's dress, a riot of colors and textures. Is that Alec's design? It seems a bit unusual, even for him. I could hear murmurs of confusion from the crowd. But I wasn't worried at all. Because it was Mila who was wearing it. It's so colorful and cute. Such a bold outfit, but it looks amazing on her. Wow, I wish I could wear something like that. The more they looked, the more positive comments spread through the crowd. Some girls, who seemed to be Mila's friends, were waving enthusiastically. Basking in the cheers, Mila walked the runway confidently. She executed the moves Aria had taught her perfectly. My teachings and your creation. I never imagined I'd see her like this. Aria said dreamily, appearing next to me without me noticing. She thanked me, and I simply nodded in response. When Mila reached the end of the runway, a staff member approached her with a microphone for an interview. Great job! It's quite an eye-catching outfit, and it suits you well. Can you tell us the highlight of this outfit? Thank you. This outfit was made by my father. He made it with so much love just for me, and that's the biggest highlight. The crowd buzzed again. I was stunned. I never expected her to say that about me. Your father. Yes. Mila seemed to struggle to say more, hesitating for a moment. But then, she steeled herself and continued. Originally, I was supposed to wear one of Alec's designs, just like everyone else. But due to some mix-up, my outfit didn't arrive. And I thought I'd have to withdraw. Then, my dad made this beautiful dress for me. She twirled the skirt, letting it flutter. I had told my dad not to come to the stage until the last moment. I said some really terrible things to him. But when I was in trouble, he helped me without hesitation. Because of him, I was able to stand on this amazing stage. I'll never forget today. Dad, I'm sorry for all the awful things I've said. I can feel how much you care about me through this outfit. Her speech turned into sobs midway through. Mila was crying. This dress is my treasure. I'm so grateful. I could hear her sniffling softly. In front of us, the girls were dabbing at their eyes with handkerchiefs. Mila, is your father here in the audience? I think he is. Then, would you like to express your gratitude to him directly? When the MC called out, Mila's father, my heart nearly skipped a beat. The audience began to look around, trying to spot Mila's father. Should I go up there? You're being called. I felt a gentle tap on my back. Aria. Yeah, you're right. Mila was waiting for me. I couldn't just stay in my seat. Taking a deep breath, I walked toward the stage. A staff member guided me up onto the platform. Dad. Mila, you did great. I. As tears welled up, Mila threw herself into my arms. In that instant, the entire venue erupted into applause. Amidst the cheers, Mila whispered softly, "Thank you. What a beautiful family." Let's give Mila and her father another big round of applause. As the host spoke, the crowd's energy reached its peak. In disbelief, I waved to the audience alongside Mila as we made our way off the stage. Back in the dressing room, as I wiped the sweat from my forehead, Mila suddenly said, "Oh, we should take a picture." She held up her phone in front of the dressing room. Mila wanted a photo with me. I was overwhelmed. Mila's eyes were still red, but she had a bright smile on her face. Just after the camera captured our image, I heard a voice I never wanted to hear again. "Casey, it's been a while." "Ha?" I looked away from the phone to see Alec standing right in front of us. Alec?" Mila gasped, freezing up completely. Right, I remembered. Mila admired Alec. "Nice to meet you, I'm Casey's daughter, right? I saw that awful outfit you wore." "What?" Mila looked confused, not understanding what he meant, and Alec let out a mocking laugh. "Ha ha. Like father, like daughter, they say." Stepping on stage in such a tacky, cheap-looking outfit, what were you thinking? "What are you?" Mila stood there in stunned silence, unable to process that her idol was belittling her. I stepped in front of Mila and glared at Alec. "If you want to mock someone, mock me, not her." "Mock you, huh? So, what are you doing for work these days?" "I'm a janitor at this university." I didn't feel any shame in saying it anymore. Mila had accepted me for who I was, so I could proudly tell anyone about my job. "A janitor? You must be kidding. You've really hit rock bottom, haven't you?" Alec doubled over in laughter. "He's not a failure." Mila started to defend me, but before she could finish, Alec gave her a once-over and scoffed. "Who would vote for someone who looks good in rags like that?" "Not me, that's for sure. I wouldn't want someone like you wearing any of my designs." "Enough." Mila jumped at the sound of my raised voice. I rarely yelled, especially not in front of her. I felt bad for scaring her, but I couldn't just stand by and let Alec belittle her. "If you have a problem, it's with me. You can say whatever you want about me, and I don't care about the past anymore. But I will never forgive anyone who insults my daughter." Look at you, all fired up. Clumsy, naive. No wonder the industry shut you out. Shut out of the industry? What do you mean? Mila repeated Alec's words in a whisper, trying to make sense of them. Alec laughed at her confusion. "You really don't know anything, do you? Some daughter you are." "I didn't do anything wrong. The problem was that you didn't have people you could trust around you. You surrounded yourself with people who could easily betray you. That's why when I stole your designs, you could only cry about it." Pathetic. Quite bold words from someone who climbed to the top by stealing, a voice interrupted. It was Aria, stepping forward. She must have come to the dressing room to check on us. "Mom! You did amazing, Mila." "It was such a beautiful performance," Aria said with a soft smile before turning to glare coldly at Alec. "It's been a long time. Do you have some business with my husband and daughter?" "No, not at all. You're as stunning as ever." The moment Alec saw Aria, he turned his back on us. "If you had chosen me, you'd be living a winner's life by now." With those empty words, he walked away. As the storm finally passed, Mila turned to me with an anxious look as soon as we entered the dressing room. "Was what he said true? That Alec copied your designs?" "Well, and Dad, I never knew you could make clothes like this." "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't either of you tell me?" I realized I couldn't hide it anymore, so I explained everything from the past to Mila. "I used to be a fashion designer. I was relatively well known back then, incorporating youth trends into practical yet refined designs, the same style Alec is famous for now. That's how I met Aria, who was a model at the time." Our first encounter was when I designed outfits for one of her fashion shows. We quickly grew closer through our shared passion for work and our hobbies. But Alec, another designer, didn't take kindly to our relationship. At that time, his designs weren't widely accepted, and he was struggling in the industry. He had feelings for Aria and was clearly resentful of my presence in her life. He picked fights with me on several occasions, but I thought it was up to Aria to decide whom she wanted to be with, so I avoided getting involved. Alec's jealousy of my growing popularity as a designer and my close relationship with Aria eventually led him to take drastic measures. I had entered a design contest for a major fashion magazine. Shortly afterward, I received a call from the editor. They suspected me of stealing someone else's designs. I was familiar with the people at the magazine and decided to go in person to discuss it. There, I was shown designs that looked very similar to mine, which had been submitted earlier. And those designs were Alec's. I insisted that the designs were my original work, but soon after, another client accused me of plagiarizing Alec's past designs. Apparently, similar designs were appearing elsewhere. I knew better than anyone that I hadn't done such a thing. However, trust is fragile. When they found Alec's rough sketches in my workspace, that was the final nail in the coffin. With that evidence, no matter what I said, it was futile. Alec didn't take legal action against me, but he made sure I was blacklisted by publishers and event companies. And so, I lost my job. Seeing what was happening, Aria quietly started probing her contacts, fellow models and designers. Eventually, we found out that Alec had orchestrated everything behind the scenes. Every person who claimed I had plagiarized had been bribed by Alec. And the rough sketches of his found on my desk had been planted there by a junior colleague acting on his orders. With these testimonies, Aria said we could take revenge on Alec. But the thought of how easily people could be bought with money terrified me. Even if I made a comeback, there was no guarantee the same thing wouldn't happen again. The people I thought were close to me had betrayed me so effortlessly. I lost faith in everything, and despite Aria trying to stop me, I decided to quit being a designer. Meanwhile, all my previous works were credited to Alec, and he quickly rose to fame. I realized this line of work wasn't meant for me. You need the resolve to push others down and be pushed down yourself. Of course, Aria, who knew the truth, never wavered toward Alec. She told me she wanted to stay by my side, even if I had nothing. By that time, I had grown to love Aria as well, but I couldn't burden her with my jobless state. I started looking for a new job, and that's when Ms. Tanner, a professor at the FCS department of the university where I now work, reached out to me. This university is also my alma mater. Ms. Tanner had always looked out for me since my student days and believed the plagiarism incident was a misunderstanding. She was one of the few people who knew both my designs and my character. She offered me a job at the university. There was even a teaching position available, and she assured me I'd be more than welcome. However, I no longer wanted to be involved in the design world, so I politely declined. That's how I ended up restarting my career as a janitor, the only other position available at the time. After finishing my story, I looked at Mila with a bit of trepidation. She was crying. I didn't know anything and I said such awful things to you. It's not your fault, Mila. I'm sorry for keeping it from you all this time. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to dig up the past, and I didn't want to say anything that might crush your dream of becoming a model. I'm sorry too, Mila. Aria added, apologizing with me. Mila shook her head and stood up. Neither of you did anything wrong. Thank you. It's enough that you understand now, Mila. As for Alec, whatever happens to him now is no concern of mine. Even if you two forgive him, I don't want to let this end here. I want more people to see your designs, Dad. Watch me, I'll make things right for you. I have an idea, Mila said, so despite my concern for her, Arya and I went back to the audience seating. The grand prize announcement was about to begin. One by one, the participants were called onto the stage, Mila among them, standing tall and proud. Watching her stand there confidently made my heart swell with pride. First, the judges, professors from the FCS department, student representatives, and Alec gave their brief comments. And the names of the students who placed third and second were announced. The audience buzzed with excitement as both the third and second place winners accepted their placements with bright smiles. And now, the announcement of the grand prize. Arya and I held our hands together, watching the stage with bated breath. And the grand prize goes to freshman Mila. Yes. Amazing. Mila won the grand prize. Our cheers were drowned out by the applause around us. Even so, Mila turned toward us and smiled. Mila, congratulations. As the grand prize winner, you'll be featured in a magazine wearing an outfit designed by Alec. Alec was ushered onto the stage by the staff and asked for a comment. Congratulations on winning the grand prize, Mila. I will make sure to create an outfit that befits such a wonderful woman. You can look forward to it. He said, a completely different person from earlier. Arya clenched her teeth in anger. The nerve of him. There you have it, Mila. Exciting, right? The host turned the microphone toward Mila, who responded with a radiant smile. No, I won't be wearing Alec's designs. The room fell silent, as if time itself had stopped. A moment later, whispers and gasps filled the auditorium. Arya and I exchanged looks of surprise. The host, momentarily stunned, brought the microphone back to her lips. What do you mean by that? I won the grand prize wearing my father's design. So, if the magazine permits, I would like to wear my father's outfit for the photo shoot. Silence gripped the hall once more. The host and Alec were left speechless, mouths agape. But Alec quickly recovered, trying to maintain his composure as he questioned Mila. Are you saying you didn't like my designs? Yes, I did try on one of your outfits, and it was certainly well made. But wearing my father's outfit now, the feeling is completely different. Come on, you're talking about an amateur's work. Besides, I have no desire to wear the clothes of someone as deceitful and consumed by jealousy as you. Alec's polite facade finally cracked. How dare a mere student talk down to me? You think you understand my designs? I don't need to. You're just someone who got famous by stealing my father's work. Mila's words, amplified by the microphone, reached everyone in the auditorium. The audience was baffled, not knowing whether to believe her. Ha, what nonsense are you spouting now? Trying to drag me down with baseless claims? It's not baseless. It's the truth. Oh, really? If you're so confident, where's your proof? Alec sneered as he leaned in to whisper in Mila's ear. There are media people here, you know. If you're lying, I'll sue you for defamation. It'll be the end for you and your family. But Mila just smiled smugly. Don't worry. I have proof. She pulled out her smartphone and held it up to the microphone. You're Casey's daughter, right? I saw that awful outfit you wore. It was unmistakably Alec's voice. She had recorded their earlier conversation. Stepping on stage in such a tacky, cheap-looking outfit, what were you thinking? That's why when I stole your designs, you could only cry about it. Pathetic. Hey. Alec's face turned pale, and he lunged at Mila, trying to grab her phone. But she deftly dodged him, causing Alec to stumble and fall spectacularly on the stage. I refuse to wear the clothes of someone who mocks others' work and has a history of stealing my father's designs. Mila shouted boldly, no longer needing a microphone. Alec scrambled to his feet and raised his fist toward Mila. But security stepped in and restrained him. Alec was dragged off stage, screaming and protesting, and this time, it was Mila who scoffed at him. My father lost his job and quit being a designer because of him. And he hid this from me all this time to protect my dream. I can see just how much my father still takes pride in his work and how skilled he is through this outfit. I respect my father deeply. My dream is to become a model who can walk on big stages. But now, it's changed a little. I want to wear my father's designs on the stage. Thank you all for today. As Mila bowed, the audience erupted into applause and cheers. Aria and I joined in, clapping as hard as we could. It turned out that right after taking the photo with me earlier, Mila had intended to record a video with the two of us. Just then, Alec had shown up, and in her shock, she had forgotten to stop recording. As a result, she had a clear recording of Alec's face and his incriminating words. This recording was promptly sent to his office and associates as evidence. So, this was the good idea Mila had mentioned. When I asked her what she would have done if she hadn't won the grand prize, she simply said that with her mother's taut poses, her father's outfit, and her own presence, there was no way she wouldn't win. Aria agreed, saying that a model needed to have that kind of confidence. The events of the homecoming queen spread far and wide. It was revealed that Alec's past designs were plagiarized and originally mine. This led to the identification and punishment of those in the publishing industry who had been swayed by money back then. Of course, Alec faced lawsuits from various parties for numerous falsehoods and fraudulent activities. Initially, his fans and major clients defended him, but the more they dug, the more dirt they found, making it impossible to support him any longer. How he'll pay the damages and what he'll do with his life from now on, I have no idea. Well, he might even face arrest for copyright infringement, so there's no point in me worrying about it. As for Mila, her poise, love for her family, and the courage to confront Alec have earned her much praise. She received many offers from talent and entertainment agencies. She turned down full-time offers since she's focused on becoming a model, but she now appears on TV and in magazines on short-term contracts. And me. After receiving so much praise from Mila, I've decided to return to the world of design. Her words gave me the confidence to push forward, and I want to repay her for that. To do so, I need to hone my skills for when she officially starts her modeling career. I started my own design office. Aria, who had been working in a corporate job, decided to use her experience to help with the administrative work. I felt a bit guilty for making her leave her company, but she was overjoyed about my return to designing. Thanks to Mila's speech at the Homecoming Queen event, my name made a comeback, and I received apologies from my former clients. Nowadays, I'm so busy that I'm occasionally invited to the university as a special instructor for students. Thanks to the kindness of Professor Tanner. The name of my design company is Cinderella. Mila insisted on it, saying it was the perfect name. Because you made me a Cinderella, Dad. Thinking of Mila's beaming smile as she said that, I find myself today, once again, designing clothes to turn her into a princess. I had once abandoned this path because I couldn't trust people. But my daughter cleared away the darkness that clouded my heart and opened a new way forward for me. Now, I have a wife and daughter I can trust completely. With the two of them by my side, I can do anything. Yes, perhaps I should make a dress for Aria's birthday. I can feel that the creative passion within me is more vibrant than ever. Having seen the ugliness in people, I now deeply understand how precious my family's light is to me. I am truly grateful to both of them. I want to continue cherishing my family and be someone they can always be proud of.